All right, whether you've realized it or not, back to school season is upon us, which means that illness is circulating. And whether you've got kids in school or not, that illness will find its way to you. So, I wanted to spend some time today talking about the best ways to help prevent illness, as well as how to fight it if it does find you. And I hope these are ways that you haven't heard of before. We're going to go beyond vitamin C to give you the most robust immune system as possible. But before we do that, we have to talk about the difference between germ theory and terrain theory. You've probably all heard of germ theory. This is the theory that germs, bacteria, viruses, parasites, they make us sick. However, what we're finding is that's not always true. We've all got bacteria, viruses, even like cancer cells floating around our bodies, but yet we're not all sick all the time. We're not all developing cancer. And this is because our immune system does such a great job at fighting off that bacteria, virus, even cancer cells to prevent us from getting sick. This is what we refer to as our terrain. So the terrain theory is as long as your immune system is better than the assault from those pathogens, you're going to remain healthy. So preventing infections is very possible when you have the right tools to help build up your terrain. So that's what we're going to talk about. Very first thing, vitamin C. Everyone knows to reach for it when you get sick. However, you kind of been lied to a little bit. That's all been more of a marketing ploy than anything. What the research has found is that vitamin C is great for your overall health, and I still encourage you to take it. But when it comes to fighting infections, it only really works prophylactically, meaning that you have to have been taking it regularly and have kept your levels of vitamin C up prior to getting infected for it to actually have benefit once you are sick. Again, this was just a big marketing ploy because they found that vitamin C was really easy to make, administer, and market. Those little vitamin C emergency packets that you see at the stores, they are not doing what they claim to be doing. And the other thing with that is vitamin C is water soluble, meaning that when you ingest it, you're likely to actually pee a lot of it out. At best, your body can only absorb about 500 milligrams at a time. If we want to increase absorption and not waste your money on supplements, you want to take vitamin C in the liposomal form. This is a fat suspension, so essentially you've turned a water-soluble vitamin into a fat-soluble vitamin, which makes it that you absorb a lot more and get the most bang for your buck. So if you want to reach for vitamin C, which I highly recommend you do, look for the liposomal form. Now zinc is actually what we all think of when we think of vitamin C. Zinc is the heavy hitter to help prevent infections and to fight them. It is one of the best things you can take to upregulate your immune system. For adults, we're looking 15 to 30 milligrams per day. Kids, more about 5 to 10 milligrams per day. Then we're on to vitamin D. Vitamin D, probably the single greatest marker of your overall health out there. So you always want to have your vitamin D levels checked regularly, especially this time of year, now that we're moving into fall and winter and sick season. Vitamin D, fat-soluble vitamin, so you want to take it in another fat suspension, not in a tablet or capsule. The fat suspension you're going to absorb a lot more of. And you want to take vitamin D with vitamin K always to help prevent things like atherosclerosis and other cardiovascular diseases. Vitamin D, we get it from the sun, you know that, but as the daylight is getting less and less, we are going to make fewer and fewer vitamin D from the sun. So you want to start supplementing about now. 2,000 IUs per day is going to be really appropriate. And as we're getting deeper into winter, you want to bump that up slowly to about 10,000 IUs per day. Those are usually really good therapeutic doses for most people. Probiotics. When we talked about terrain theory, we want to make sure that the amount of good bacteria in us is larger than the amount of bad bacteria in us to keep that bad bacteria at bay. So if you're not regularly eating fermented foods, you want to think about supplementing with probiotics. They are amazing for your overall health, but great at preventing infections. When it comes to probiotics, look for the highest CFU and diversity that you can find. So keep rotating your probiotic supplements to get new strains to keep that diversity more broad. And then glutathione, this is one of my favorite supplements I talked about in the last video. I'll probably talk about it in the next video, whatever that happens to be. Glutathione, strongest antioxidant in your body. And if we're gonna oversimplify human health, bad things don't happen until the levels of good things drop below that. So if you keep your antioxidant level up, it's gonna help combat all that free radical damage, oxidative stress that comes from viruses, bacteria, and other pathogens. And into the non-supplement realm, we're going to talk about sleep. Sleep is probably the greatest dictator of your immune system. It has the most influence on it out of anything. Studies shown that if you are regularly getting between 7 and 9 hours of sleep per night, especially the week leading up to being exposed to the common cold virus or any other kind of pathogen, you are only about 18% likely to become infected with that pathogen. If you're getting 5 hours or less a night, I think it said, and you only have to get 5 hours or less one night out of that whole week, your likelihood of becoming infected is now 50% higher. So consistent, regular, deep sleep is something we really want to strive for. And as the days are getting shorter and shorter, your sleep should be getting longer and longer. This is just an evolutionary adaptation humans involved into that we're not exactly honoring anymore. So more sleep is going to help you prevent infections as well as fight them. And if you're planning on getting a vaccine this fall, winter, flu, COVID, whatever, the same premise holds. The amount of sleep you get the week prior to getting that vaccine is going to dictate how well it works for you. Remember, vaccines don't directly fight or prevent infections. What they do is train your immune system. They upregulate it, make it more robust. So if you're getting that 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night prior to the vaccine, you are going to benefit from it a lot more. But if you get 5 or less hours per night, it's about a 50% reduction in the efficacy of that vaccine. So good sleep, regular sleep, deep sleep, do your best to get it. Sauna therapy. We've got an infrared sauna here. Saunas are think of sauna therapy to fight infections like mounting a fever when you're sick. One of the reasons that your body mounts a fever when you're sick is to activate heat shock proteins. These are special proteins that are only activated under extreme heat, and they upregulate your immune system. So instead of getting sick and getting the fever, we can mimic this by jumping in the sauna. Activate those heat shock proteins, upregulate your immune system. 2 years ago, I started doing regular saunas and taking zinc regularly. And I'll be honest with you, I haven't gotten sick once in those last 2 years. So it's super simple to help prevent infections when you know how to build up your terrain. And then the last thing is your diet. Bacteria, viruses, they feed on carbohydrates and sugar. So if we want to prevent them, if we want to fight them, you have to starve it of its fuel source. So focus on diets higher in protein and fat, lower in carbohydrates and sugar, and that'll go a super long way for you. So now if you have the unfortunate circumstance of actually becoming infected, here's some great ways to actually fight off that infection. One, all of this still applies, but now we're going to start looking to this. Immediately at home, you probably have these 4 things sitting in your spice cabinet. Garlic, thyme, oregano, ginger, all wonderful at fighting infections, especially bacterial. Garlic, if you just have, you can peel a clove of garlic and just eat it yourself. It's pretty hardcore, but it's effective. Thyme, oregano, ginger, you can make tea out of this. You can just incorporate more into your food. It's a great, I'm starting to not feel so great this morning, don't have time to run to the store or order supplements online. Reach for these. But otherwise, supplement-wise, echinacea, golden seal, phenomenal at treating infections. And then if your infection is more viral in nature, so your flus, your COVIDs, upper respiratory tract infections, L-lysine, it's an amino acid and it is phenomenal at treating viral infections. 1,500 milligrams 3 times a day is great for fighting it. And if you're just more prone to getting a cold, the flu, whatever, every year season, you can even start taking this prophylactically to fight it off. So hopefully that helps. As always, there is a link below the video to get all of these supplements, my personal recommendations from the only trusted source I get my supplements from, and another link to schedule your sauna. Get in here, get that going, help prevent colds and flus this season.